I know I've been in services, and my preacher says this all the time. He says, I could get up here and I could tell you a story that make you cry.
Sure.
And I could tell you a story that
and
make
he can
you
too.
laugh.
I mean, he's good at it. Yeah, he can.
I tell you a story and make you laugh. But he said, that's not why I'm up here.
Sure.
But in dealing with illustrations, let me ask you this way. What part does a personal illustration have in expository preaching?
Sure. Well, if you use it right, let me say it that way. It's a very important part. But the illustration should not be your message. How many times have me and you sat in great services and great preachers, but I walked away of that service, I remembered the illustration, I'm thinking in my mind, well, what did he preach? Well, I can't even remember, the illustration was so good, I can't remember the text, that kind of stuff. Well, what happens when that is developed, the illustration becomes your message. And we should use illustrations. It makes it personal. It draws people in. It makes me a person and just a nobody, nothing. It makes them know that I fail and we fail. Those personal, it realizes God can bless our life, do that. The personal illustration should not be your message, but your personal illustration should always go back to the text. I should tell a story, an illustration, if God allows me to get them back to the text. It should draw us back to the Word of God. If that illustration draws me away from the Word of God, that's when we failed. That's when we messed up. If I go out of the meeting saying, man, that's a great illustration, but what he preached, what he say in the Bible, that's when the illustration, and now I'm okay, because with illustrations, that is not the strong part of my message. But I know guys that are amazing. I know Brother Eddie Goddard, many people that'll watch this, they'll remember Brother Eddie Goddard in this circle. Every point had an illustration. I mean, it's just amazing. But you didn't walk out of there, you remember the illustrations, but you always remember that text. It would take you back. And be careful with illustrations. Don't let it be your message. But when you use illustrations, and you should, but get it back to the text. That illustration should draw you back to the Word of God, if it's done right and if it's told right.